Did y'all know that 80% of aviation accidents are caused by human error? That was a NASA study done by Jay Shively, published in 2013. Today, we're going to be talking about why automation in aviation is actually a really good thing. Um, in fact, two of the most automated planes in the world right now are the 787 and the Airbus A350. They have a combined zero accidents on record. Each one of them has one incident. The 787, there was an article published by Jake Hardingman from Simple Flying in February of 23, where a 787 entered a sudden nosedive, and it was due to human error. The pilot got disoriented and entered a nosedive when turning. And then for the A350, there was a tail strike on go around. Every flight you step on, the planes have automation. Most flights you are on, the entire flight is done with autopilot with the exception of takeoff and landing. That being said, certain flights there are automation actually landing the aircraft. My name is Christopher Kinney. I'm a flight instructor at the University of Oklahoma, and I've had a lot of opportunities to fly different airplanes with different forms of automation. So that's why I chose this topic. The reason I believe automation's a good thing is because it can greatly increase the safety of flying. Um, Technology is advancing all around the world, and aviation is one of the leaders in that advancement. Autopilot and auto land features are commonly tested to ensure that they're safer, and automation reduces pilot workload. So let's get into it. How does automation greatly increase safety? An upgraded panel means that you have more backup systems. You can especially see this at the airlines. They usually have backups for their backups. This allows the aircraft to be more redundant. If you lose one system, you have another to follow through and keep flying. Also, talking to an A&P named Mr. Salgado in April of 2023, he said with more systems you put on the aircraft, there's more troubleshooting involved, which leads to them finding more errors and fixing them, so these systems are actually safer than your basic systems. The next topic is how technology is advancing. We see that not only in aviation but cars too. We have Teslas that can drive themselves. We have drones that can be remoted operate. Away from non-pilot drones, just operated from a base, and they can be flown across the world. In aviation, we have airplanes that fly themselves, land themselves, take off by themselves, and technology is only growing. Aviation is actually one of the leading industries. We had planes that could fly themselves long before anything else could fly themselves or operate solely off themselves. Some of these features include what I've already mentioned, autopilot as well as auto land, which brings me to the next point of autopilot and auto land and how they're commonly tested, making them very redundant and safe. They can basically fly and land a plane from start to finish, the entire flight, no matter where you go in the world. Auto land features actually allow planes to fly in conditions humans are not allowed to fly because it wouldn't be deemed safe. They can fly different approaches in the airlines that allow the airlines to keep operating in lower weather conditions where normal humans can operate because we aren't as accurate and precise as these systems. They're actually, in speaking to American Airlines First Officer John Kinney in April of 2023, he talked about how Autoland is actually tested for currency every 90 days, where the pilots are required to let the plane land itself at least once every 90 days to ensure that the system still works. Another point that he made in interviewing him was that automation reduces workload, which is my final point. It allows pilots to focus on other tasks. He mentioned flying into Los Angeles. On the approaches, there's many step downs. On the arrivals, there's many step downs. The pilots get really busy. So having the plane fly itself while they can work on radios, plugging in approaches, running checklists, other things is really useful rather than them being distracted trying to multitask, which is scientifically impossible for humans to do. In fact, they relied on it so much and really enjoy using the autopilot that they have nicknamed it George, and they refer to autopilot as George when they're flying. So, in conclusion, automation is a great thing. It greatly increases the safety of flying. It's one of the greatest technological advances in the world. It's very commonly tested to ensure that it's safe and it reduces pilot workload. Thank you for listening.